Hello, everyone. I'm getting ready. Let me move my face to you so you can move out of your way to talk to you about the Neolithic Revolution and some of our early cultural societies for the lesson today. So, as soon as I get my technology PowerPoint working out, we can get started. Let me move this so it's not in the way. Let me move it again. Might have to stay there. Thanks for your patience. Oh, as soon as I thought it was good. All right. So I love world history and learning about Neolithic, which means new revolution, and how our us as a modern people or as humans begin to develop. I love this little cartoon. It says, "How goes the hunt? Not so great. How's gathering? Oh, so so. Look, a village. I wonder what they're doing over there. Excuse me, I couldn't help it over here. Let me tell you about living the Neolithic way." First off, we don't just look around for our food, we actually grow some of it. Plant and animal domestication is the key. So basically, we start out in the kind of the old way of doing things. We're simply hunting, but now we're going to be moving more towards domesticating and controlling how we get our food. And that's what we're going to be discussing in this PowerPoint. So, food production, the biggest mistake. Food production is hard work, and it often led to poor health. People didn't know the proper way to do things. We didn't know about a lot of germs back then, shorter lifespans due to long working hours, and harder labor for the majority of the people. Keep in mind, while you are taking notes, feel free to use your highlighter. Feel free to stop and pause this video so that you get everything down. Remember, at the end of each module, you will have to upload your notes that you've taken throughout the module. And it needs to be at least a page. So make sure you're taking a lot throughout. Let's talk about the Paleolithic era, which comes before the Neolithic era. It was about 2 million BCE, about 10,000 BCE. They called it the Stone Age, and it was the first use of stone tools until we come to the new way of doing things, the Neolithic era, which is more domestication. So let's look at the life of Paleolithic humans. It does not like me to touch the screen. If you kind of look at the picture, it shows you how civilization kind of develops and begins to spread. This is also called human migration. So it starts kind of in Africa, then you move over the land bridge, and then you see kind of how it spreads throughout. Here are again some pictures or some evidence of how we know that Neolithic era really picks up after the Paleolithic era by examining writings. Some more drawings, art. So this Neolithic revolution, what is this? Where did it happen? When did it happen? And why? This is where you need to make sure you have your notes out and you're writing, because this is where the information from the quiz comes from. Neolithic era is basically an agricultural revolution. Please highlight and star. It's basically the domestication of animals and village life. As you can see, this goes from more of following their food to actually domesticating and making their food. All civilization began in the Fertile Crescent, or in between the Tigris and the Euphrates. The end of the last ice age caused a warming trend. When wild grasses begin to develop, we begin to domesticate and begin to farm. And this area is one of the most fertile areas at that time, in between Mesopotamia, the Tigris, and the Euphrates, where all civilization began on the African continent. How did agriculture develop? Due to the availability of calories, kind of determined how people got food. Basically, how long could you work? The end of the ice age, we get plants, we see green grasses, so that's kind of how it came about. They were able to manipulate these green grasses. Humans began helping the plants along and watering them, selecting traits, moving them through crop rotation to increase the amount of food that was available. Certain plants were abundant and provided many calories or were rich and dense in nutrients. So we continue to farm those plants as humans. So that way we can get the most bang for our buck, basically. Wheat was one of them. So here is kind of just a little example. I've moved myself again. So whenever I move myself, I have to go back. Of some of the dates and the location of types of food and animals that were gathered. I'll let you kind of dwell on that a little bit. Little dance. Ah! I'm silly, y'all. All right, more pictures. Maize is one of the main crops that was produced, which is corn. Again, dense and rich in calories and pretty easy to grow. What else is needed for the Neolithic Revolution? Animal domestication. What is it? When an animal, we can take a male animal, a female animal, breed them to create more, and then use those animals for food. An animal will breed where and when we want it to, and often, and it will come to us for food, not we follow them for food. Examples. We have horses, cows, pigs, sheep, goat, chicken, oxen, and the Indian elephant, all from Eurasia. You can't see it because I don't want to move my little thing, but these are all animals that were able to be domesticated or controlled that we could breed and produce. Why was it in the Americas? Only the guinea pig, the turkey, and there's a link here. The llamas fly. Oops, and I can't open the file, so we'll skip that. So what does the Neolithic Revolution allow for? They don't have to keep moving. They can actually set up villages, which helps to create more people, because when you're not worried about following your food so much, you can actually build a family because you have time. The need for cooperation and a group effort, again, that's a result of villages. Job stabilization and specialization. We can now give different people duties. You're in charge of the corn, you're in charge of the animals. Social hierarchies, so we get classes and the caste system. Again, we get patriarchy, which is predominantly male dominated, which they will be kind of over everything during that time. And obviously, like I said earlier, population growth. Due to the fact that you're not moving so much, you can grow your population. Results from agriculture society. Now that you have possessions, what do you have to do? The kings have to direct. The militaries made to protect, the priests keep the record or the bureaucrats, and the scribes keep the accounts. So you're getting more sophistication as we go along of life. The artisans make storage vessels, had too much coffee this morning at the house, for pottery. Some examples of the villages that begin to develop during the Neolithic era. Again, feel free to pause and stop as you need to copy things down. Oh, as a matter of fact, I need to plug up my Mac, so hold on. You can be writing these things down while you're plugging things up. Okay, we ready to go? Okay, awesome. Animals and agriculture package, military and organizational superiority also came with that. Make sure you get that down. But you had that on the other chart, so you're good. Did everyone switch and go from Paleolithic to Neolithic? No. Some river valleys civilizations stayed the same. They did go out and breed. I mean, they did go out and kind of follow their food because they had a readily available food source right in the river valley. Eurasian, they had the grasslands, so they kind of continued to chase and follow their food. And then the African savanna. The Inuit lens, and that's it. So if you have any more questions, feel free to scroll back through this presentation or give me a ring and a shout. Thanks.